What's up, guys? It is me, Dom, and Vin joining you guys back on the Sports Pulse. We got a special episode, pre-free agency frenzy. There is absolute chaos going on in the NFL right now. So we were going to talk about a lot of things going on the past week. Some big moves: Max Crosby, DJ Moore, Jordan Davis, everything coming up soon on this pod. We're going to be talking about it, and we'll be talking about the free agency coming up on this Wednesday, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Vin, thanks for joining me again. Before we get started, I think past couple weeks, everybody's been talking about it. The passing of Rondell Moore, the tragic passing of Rondell Moore. He was only 25 years old. It was suspected that he took his own life, and me and Vin just want to give our deepest condolences to Moore's family, friends, and everybody he knew, and just to just from me, if you have a problem, speak up. There's always something you can do. That type of stuff it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. So yeah, if you have somebody in your life that you need to talk to, please talk to them. It's not worth it to take your own life. We lost somebody who was not only a superior athlete and a fantastic athlete in the NFL, it's a from what I've heard, a really good person. So, Vin, anything you got to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a real shame about Rondell Moore, and if there's, kind of piggyback off of what Dom had said, if there's anything going on, mental health is really important. Make sure you reach out to somebody. It's a very very important thing to take care of, and like you said, Rondell Moore, 25 years old, played for the Cardinals, most recently Minnesota, and unfortunately, what happened was a shame. Where we athletes, are just like anybody else. They gotta look out for each other. They have mental health issues as well, just as much as we do as well. So, rest in peace to Rondale Moore, and condolences to him, his family, his friends, his teammates, and all those who knew Rondale. So, I hate to start the show off with such a somber note, but it's definitely something that we needed to talk about. And rest in peace to the young 25-year-old wide receiver who played for multiple teams.
Yeah, it's and I hope his legacy is remembered in a positive light because he was such a great player. Like I said, from what I've heard, such a great person, and
Good
um,
teammate.
that's I think that's the spirit of football will hopefully keep his legacy and keep him in mind for a long time. So again, I hate to start the show off like this, but we want to give our deepest condolences. But on a lighter note, it's been a very very hectic week of pre-free agency, a lot of trades, a lot of moves, a lot of people getting released from teams. But the first one, the big one that I want to talk about, uh, Mr. Max Crosby, last night, was traded to the Baltimore Ravens, and I'll get the exact trade details up for me. But
It
Vin,
was
what
insane.
does that actually what does that mean for the Ravens, like and their playoff push?
Well, first of all, I apologize about the horrible camera quality because I tried getting my camera to work and it doesn't want to work. So, it looks really bad right now, but that's not going to stop me from talking about this insane trade. So, first of all, credit to the Ravens front office and their new coaching staff. I believe their coach now is Jesse Minter, and after Harbaugh was released. And what a move! What a statement made by him to go say, "Hey, I'm a new coach. We just got rid of our coach of how many years was he there, Dom? Like 18 seasons."
It's got to be about 18, 17 seasons with the Ravens.
Yeah, and that's one heck of a way to start it off. Like, hey, I'm part of this new regime. We're gonna go trade for the best of the best. This is the Ravens pretty much saying, "We're ready to win now." This is them putting their best foot forward and being like, "Hey, I feel like the AFC North is at its worst. I think this is the worst every single team has been in a long time. The Steelers just got rid of Tomlin, and Aaron Rodgers' future is still in doubt. We don't even know if he's going to come back. I mean, the betting odd is that Aaron Rodgers is going to go back to Pittsburgh and work with Mike McCarthy, but we don't know that, right? Maybe Aaron Rodgers decides to throw us a little curveball and retire because he could go retire whenever he wants. maybe the Browns are still one of the worst teams in the NFL. I don't care how many sacks Myles Garrett got. He broke the sack record, and they still couldn't get a winning record. So there's that with the Cleveland Browns. They don't even have their quarterback situation figured out. Then there's the Cincinnati Bengals, who are losing Trey Hendrickson. He put out a statement, I believe, yesterday saying that he's leaving Cincinnati. And on top of that, they have no cap room. I mean, between paying Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, they can't pay everybody. The Ravens are still one of the better teams in the AFC. They still have Lamar Jackson. They still have Mark Andrews. Derrick Henry he's Derrick Henry. I mean, what's understood doesn't need to be explained. And that Ravens defense is already good. Now you're taking one of the best defensive players in the NFL, inserting him into your defense after already having a winning record. This is the Ravens pulling that big trade that they think will elevate them to the next level. I feel like this kind of reminds me of a few years ago when the Rams traded for Stafford. They gave up the far to go get Matthew Stafford. Look at where it got them, right? I'm not going to say this works out every time. I mean, back in the 90s, Minnesota traded for Herschel Walker. They traded first-round pick for next year, and they also traded 2 Super Bowls to the Dallas Cowboys. So this doesn't work out for everybody. But I think this is a huge trade, an awesome trade for Baltimore, and I think this is Jesse Minter's way of saying we're ready to go win it all. Dom, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I got the exact trade details up here. It's Max Crosby to the Ravens for the Ravens' number 14th pick in this year's draft, and the Ravens' first round pick next year in 2027. And I think you said everything that you need to be said about the Ravens. So I'll talk about a little bit about the Raiders, what this means for them. This means they're getting help for Fernando Mendoza. Now, hear me out. I know with this pick, it may be a defensive player, but could it be a Makai Lemon? Could it be a Denzel Boston? Could it be somebody who you get on that squad to help out Brock Bowers, to help out Ashton Genty? Look at this offense. If you go get a number 1 wide receiver, like this is big for them. And again, they can go the safe route. They can draft a defensive player, cornerback, a linebacker. Could be anybody that they need. And the best part about it, they're not going to make the wrong pick. Because at every single position, other than maybe tight end, if you draft a tight end, then there's no helping the Raiders. But yeah, they're going to make the right pick regardless. And maybe this is just me as somebody who likes the flashy stuff and the big crazy moves. If they go out and get a wide receiver, this is going to be big for Mendoza, not only to help out his development, but the future of the Raiders. They'll never have to worry about that again, because I think the guys in that room, Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, you have so many faces. You're going to have Fernando Mendoza. You already have guys who can produce. Imagine taking all that weight off their shoulders. You're gonna let the Raiders absolutely, and they have the first round pick next year. I know the Ravens are going to be probably much, much better than pick 14, but again, anything can happen. But again, like you said, for the Ravens, this is he joins Matabuke on that defensive line, Trey Jones. So just an overall great pickup by the Ravens. I think I'd give it an A+ on the Ravens side. You get the best pass rusher in the league other than Myles Garrett. And for the Raiders, I'd give them an A. I'd give them an A-, just because you're getting rid. I wouldn't give them an A+ just because you're getting rid of the best player on your team, but you're getting back substantial amounts. And nobody's talking about this. The cap space they're getting back from this is really, really good. You can go out and sign guys who you need, who are depth pieces, because a lot of the time, look at the Patriots. They signed guys like Carlton Davis, Spillane, all guys that are not great, like elite players, but they're really, really, really good role players. So just an overall a great trade. Another big trade coming out of the league this week from my Chicago Bears, DJ Moore. and a fifth round pick is heading to the Buffalo Bills and getting Josh Allen, his number one wide receiver. What do you think about this? And they get back a second round pick, the Bears. But what do you think about this, Vin, as somebody with non-Bears perspective?
Well, I think this is a good thing for the Bears, actually. You know what? I'm going to start with the Bears, and I'm actually going to give them a B on this trade. Maybe a B minus, but I'm going to give them a B. Um, I think that this is a really good opportunity for Roma Dunze. This is a guy who they drafted really early. I think they should have drafted an offensive lineman. And it didn't really matter when they went out and pretty much traded for their entire offensive line last year. So they drafted Roma Dunze, and he hasn't really been all that flashy, but when he's given the opportunity, I feel like he could be just as good as anybody else. And let's say he has a pan out. Luther Burden is fantastic for Chicago. I would argue he was the best offensive player that wasn't Caleb Williams or one of their running backs last year. He might have even been better than Colston Loveland, and I like Colston Loveland a lot. Luther Burden was fantastic. This is a good opportunity for both of those guys to play well. I like DJ Moore, but this frees up some cap space, right? Their center just retired. They're going to need to have that money to go get another offensive lineman, maybe add a defensive piece, maybe get a guy who's leaving, right? We talked about that in our episode, in one of our previous episodes when we went over the NFC North, that Chicago needs a corner. Maybe they need to add another defensive lineman. I think trading DJ Moore is fine. I don't love it because it's their number one receiver, and that was Caleb Williams' number one target last year. But I think this is a good opportunity to show what Chicago has in Roma Dunze and Luther Burden. As for the Buffalo Bills, I give them an A minus on this trade. I think this is a great trade for Josh Allen. This is the best number one receiver he's had since Stephon Diggs. This is the best one he's had since Stephon Diggs. DJ Moore has that potential to potentially be a top 10 receiver in the league. We've seen what he was able to do. He did it for a while in Chicago. He did it while he was in Carolina with Cam Newton, amongst all these other guys that he had at quarterback, because they had a million quarterbacks for a while now. But you add someone like DJ Moore to your offense, he opens up opportunities for those other guys on their offense. You know, Keon Coleman, they have Khalil Shakir. I like James Cook at running back, and then they have the tight end duo with Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. Adding DJ Moore gives them a number one receiver, not one of the high tier number one receivers, not your Tyreek Hills or your Justin Jeffersons or your JSNs, but it gives you one of those pretty solid, guys who you could rock with at number one all year long. So I like the trade for the Bills, and I like that they got a late round pick. That could help too. But they gave the Bears a second round pick. Not too steep, not too bad. And for the Bears, they could use that second round pick if they really wanted to go get another receiver. This draft class is loaded with wide receivers. So I like what the Bills did. I think it's a good trade on both sides, more so Buffalo than Chicago. But Dom, you tell me, you're a Bears fan. You've been watching DJ Moore since he got traded there. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely am very upset that DJ Moore left. I was ecstatic with his production, even though this year, not as great, only 600, I think 680 something yards, 90 something yards. But that room was so crowded. I think that he was bound to either get moved or somebody else was going to get moved. And I thought it was either going to be him or Cole Kmet. And I think they value Cole Kmet a little bit better just because of his tight end status and that double tight end, those double tight end sets they like to run in Chicago. But this is fantastic for the Bills, like you said. My cousin's actually a Bills fan, and he texted me as soon as it happened. He was like, "Man, we got him. We got a number one guy," and they've been looking for that number one guy with Keon Coleman. They've been looking at with that for Shakir, who's I think is a very solid number two, and I think he's going to flourish in this offense when DJ Moore gets there and the next season starts, just because of how much he can stretch that field. He's that Xavier Worthy type of stretch the field, go deep wide receiver who's going to either get you 120 yards in a game off of 3 receptions, or he's going to have he's that Jameson Williams type of player, and I really like him as a number 2, and you see how good Jameson Williams is as a number 2 in Detroit. So again, the Bills have finally addressed that need because they've tried it drafting a receiver. They've tried it, with Shakir. They've tried it with just throwing random receivers in that number one role since Stephon Diggs left, and that hole is now filled by DJ Moore. And I really think that he's going to flourish in this offense. A veteran wide receiver with it's crazy to say, veteran Josh Allen. He's, he's now, I'm getting old. Like, Josh Allen's now been in the league for a couple of years now. So, this is going to really, again, push them to a deep playoff run. This AFC is getting crazy. Baltimore, them, like it's really, really getting crazy. And for the Bears, I think this is really smart. I agree with your grading of them. I think you gave them a B plus or B. But obviously you don't want to get rid of your number one wide receiver, but this clears up a bunch of cap space. You get the second round pick who can either like you said, go for another receiver. This draft class is deep with receivers, even in the second round. Or I've seen a lot of people talking about gearing up for a big trade. I know Max Crosby is out of the question, but you still have a lot of guys who you could throw a second round pick and maybe get somebody who you need for your O-line, or they're looking for a left tackle or a linebacker who you would need. The possibilities are endless, and I love this trade because it gives the Bears flexibility to do what they want. They're not stuck in a position where we have excessive amount of receivers, we don't have draft capital to dish out. Now we could, if we don't like somebody in the draft, we can trade it for somebody we really like in the league. So again, I think it gives them a lot of room to do what they want to do. And keeping up with the trades, the LA Rams acquired a pretty big piece for their cornerback core. Trent McDuffie. Vin, tell me what you think about this trade.
Well, let me start with the Chiefs. I don't like this move for Kansas City that much. I think it's a decent move for Kansas City, I guess. I'm going to give them a C. Like, sure, the return was great. This is the best return they're going to get for Trent McDuffie ever, probably, in his whole career. Unless for some reason.
If I may interrupt you, I'll read out the details before you go over it. That it's a first round this year, the 29th overall pick from the Rams, a 2026 fifth round, 2026 sixth round, and a 2027 third round pick. And the Rams obviously received Trent McDuffie. So go ahead. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, it's actually good that you read the return because they got a lot. They got a lot for Trent McDuffie. But how often are you going to come across a guy like Trent McDuffie? There's potential for him to be a top 5 corner in the league. I mean, this is a huge blockbuster trade for the Rams defense. I would say the downfall of the Rams in the playoffs was their defense, right? I mean, you look at that game against the Bears, even that they won. If they had a corner that could cover, or even a linebacker that could cover a tight end, but if they had Trent McDuffie on their team, the Rams might be in the Super Bowl. They might be in the they might be Super Bowl champions. We could see Matthew Stafford hoisting up another Lombardi because this team was quite literally a piece away from being one of the best team in the NFL. I had them winning the Super Bowl, but they couldn't stop JSN. They clearly couldn't stop Colston Loveland against the Bears. Somehow they figured out how to win that game, right? So this is a team that I feel like was a piece away from winning the whole thing, and they just went out. And this is, again, kind of similar to the Ravens, their way of saying, we're ready to go win now. Like, there's nothing, like, this is it. Like, if we don't win now, we're not going to win for a long time. And that's kind of what they did with Stafford, right? They were like, all right, we got to trade everything for Stafford because we got to win now. And they did. They won a Super Bowl. But how long ago was that trade? Like 5 years ago? Yeah. Stafford's still on their team. They can still win now. Stafford is coming off of the best season of his career, statistically at least. He just won an MVP, for God's sake. He's coming off of the best year of his career. So they're like, all right, let's go add up on defense. Let's go ahead. I love this trade for the Rams. This is an A+ for the Rams. I think this is awesome. There is they traded away a lot to go get him, but it's worth it. I mean, you're getting a top 5 potential corner in the league. I mean, like there's very few guys that are better than him. You have your Christian Gonzalez's, your Pat Surtains, Derek Stingley, AJ Terrell, and then it's guys like Trent McDuffie. I mean, sure, you can make your argument for a guy like Quinyon Mitchell, but I would still take Trent McDuffie. I think this is a fantastic trade for the Rams. It's okay for the Chiefs. It's okay. The only redeeming quality about this trade is the draft capital. Now you got 2 first-round picks. You got an earlier one, and now you got a bit of a later one. So where do the Chiefs go? I have no idea. Probably will. I don't even know what they're going to draft. Probably an offensive lineman, and then their second pick. I mean, who knows where the Chiefs go with that second pick? Could be a defensive player to replace Trent McDuffie, which I don't even know why you would trade him to begin with. If you're just going to draft another corner to replace him, I guess not to pay him, but you're going to have to pay your top guys. Maybe they add another receiver to give Mahomes more weapons. Mahomes is just like Josh Allen, strangely enough, a veteran now. I think this is an okay trade for the Chiefs, but when you're a team like Kansas City who won the Super Bowl last year and didn't make the playoffs, I don't think it's the fault of your defense. I think you have to address your offense because Mahomes could not stay on his feet at all. It's not Mahomes' fault. He was getting pressured. So if it were me, I wouldn't have pulled that trade off. I would have asked for more. I would have asked for a first-round pick, and I would have asked for 2 first-round picks. I mean, just judging off of the return that was given for Max Crosby, I would have asked for more. But I think it's a mediocre trade for the Chiefs, but a fantastic trade for the Rams. Dom, what do you think? Let me know.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with everything you're saying. I'm a little surprised that the Rams traded the first round pick. I know this is a kind of a no brainer if you're being offered this and the Chiefs are saying yes. But call me crazy, but I thought they were going to take Ty Simpson with that 29th overall pick. Um, I thought they were going to take a quarterback to replace Matthew Stafford because only time is undefeated, and I do really think that his career is coming to an end. If not this year, this season, then the next after. But I really do think that he's coming to the end of his career, and I think they need to start looking at that position. As crazy as it sounds, maybe they're going to go get somebody like Malik Willis who could learn under him for a year. You know, uh, somebody we'll talk about in a second. Maybe we'll talk about next is Kyler Murray going to the Rams to learn under Matthew Stafford for a year. He's still pretty young. But yeah, I do really like this trade. And I also think this signifies the end of an era for the Chiefs. Now, call me crazy. I think this is the start of maybe not a rebuild, but a retool. And they are definitely going to lose a lot of their top pieces. They're losing Travis Kelce either this year or next year. Um, I don't think Rashee Rice is a mainstay. I think has so many issues outside of football that I think that the Chiefs need to move on from him. Chris Jones is getting older. A lot of your top guys are retiring, and I think the Chiefs kind of understand that. And I don't know if trading McDuffie away was the answer to that. I don't know where their head was at with that, but again, the return's okay. Who you're going to draft in that spot, I don't know. I know uh, the safety McNeil Warren is there. He's pretty good. But other than that, who are you, like that guy could also play. That guy's very versatile. He'll play like nickel, corner, free safeties, strong safeties. So I just don't know where you're going with that. But again, it's a new era for the Chiefs. I think they're going to be a little bit mediocre for a few years. Not to say that that's Mahomes' fault or anything, but a lot of these guys are getting older. The team around him is kind of deteriorating a little bit. So watch, they'll prove me wrong by winning next year, the Super Bowl. So For some odd reason, they'll just randomly win a Super Bowl. But no. So next up, we'll go with a couple of guys who got released. We went through the bigger trades, so a couple of big names got released. Who I just talked about, Kyler Murray. That's a whole. I could spend hours talking about how crazy this situation is. Uh, who the heck is going to play quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals? Is it Jacoby Brissett? Is it Ty Simpson? Is it Carson Beck? Is it who is going to play quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals? Talk to me, Vin. Because I have literally no idea. I don't know what they're going to do, and where I don't even know where Kyle's going to go. But we'll figure that out. So just talk to me, Vin. What do you think?
Yeah, it's been a really interesting debacle over in Arizona. That whole Kyler Murray situation. Like, listen, I love Kyler Murray. I think he's one of the top talents at quarterback in the NFL. When I heard he got released, I wasn't surprised. But what surprises me is they don't have a plan for a replacement. Like, I'm hearing about all these teams figuring out their quarterback situation. I'm hearing about the Steelers. I'm hearing about the Dolphins. I haven't heard anything about the Cardinals. I am stunned. Who's going to go play quarterback for them? Right now, if the season started, their quarterback's Jacoby Brissett, which, respect to Jacoby Brissett, but how much longer does Jacoby Brissett have as a starting quarterback in this league? Maybe they go give Daniel Jones? Daniel Jones has got the transition tag. Do they try and outbid them for Daniel Jones? I don't know, because their situation's kind of similar to what the Giants was, where they got no O-line. So it's such a weird, like, you can't really pay him either because he also is coming off of an injury. So, I mean, there's Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, Tua Tagovailoa, who's on his 5,000th concussion. I mean, like, Aaron Rodgers, if he wants to play again, I don't think he does. If he does, he's probably going to go play with Mike McCarthy. If not, I think he's going to retire. I mean, the Cardinals, honestly, I don't care if this is a hot take or not. They are the worst team in the NFL right now. They might be the worst team in the NFL. They don't have any redeeming qualities other than Trey McBride. Marvin Harrison Jr. has not looked good. I hate to say that because I still think the talent is there with him, but he has looked horrible. James Conner can't stay healthy. They got no O-line. Budda Baker's their only player on their defense. They have nothing. The Cardinals have nothing. It's actually kind of depressing. But it's interesting when you look at Kyler Murray, right? That's what I'm thinking. Where's Kyler Murray going to go? I have been all over Twitter trying to figure this out, and right now the betting odds favorite is my Minnesota Vikings. The betting odd favorite is for Minnesota to go get Kyler Murray at a league minimum deal of $1.3 million, which is kind of crazy considering where Kyler Murray was only a few years ago. I mean, this is a guy who was a first, like, 2 years ago, Minnesota drafted J.J. McCarthy and signed Sam Darnold to be their backup. 2 years later, Sam Darnold's hoisting the Lombardi Trophy and J.J. McCarthy's the laughingstock in the NFL. What was Sam Darnold? Sam Darnold was a guy who was drafted by an organization that failed him, that had all the talent, moved around a little bit, and is now a Super Bowl champion. Kyler Murray is a guy who was drafted by an organization that failed him and will go to another team that has the pieces. Minnesota has the pieces. We all know that. TJ Hawkinson, who literally right now, as of the recording of this video, just signed a restructure with Minnesota, saving Minnesota another $5 million. Minnesota, by the way, has freed like $60 million in cap room in the last like 48 hours. Just putting that out there. So they have the money to sign Kyler Murray. So Kyler Murray's a guy who was drafted early in the first round. Sam Darnold, I believe, was the third pick. Kyler Murray was obviously the 1-1, who was drafted to an organization that did nothing really to help him, had a few struggles, and is now getting released. Does Minnesota do that again? I could see it. Do the Steelers go get him, right? Do they go and get Kyler Murray and try and work with him? Does a team sign him as a backup? I don't think so. I think he's a starter anywhere else pretty much in the league. He's just as talented as any of the top 15 guys in the NFL. Maybe he goes to Vegas to work with Fernando Mendoza. I read a report yesterday saying that Vegas is trying to add a veteran quarterback to help out Fernando Mendoza. Who better than a guy who was drafted the same spot Mendoza's going to be drafted in, right? So we look at these teams and we look at what they could. We look at their potential. Minnesota is the best, in my opinion, and I know I'm a Vikings fan. I'm biased. I think Minnesota is the best landing spot for Kyler Murray. He's probably going to start over JJ McCarthy. I want to like JJ McCarthy, I really do. But if it's between Kyler Murray and JJ McCarthy, I'm sorry, Nine, but I'm choosing K1. I'm choosing Kyler Murray 10 times out of 10. I don't care about what he does on live streams playing Call of Duty. That doesn't matter. What he does on the field is impressive. I was looking at his highlight reel the other day from last year. He was not bad. He just was not the answer, right? So I like Kyler Murray is the best possible landing spot for Minnesota, or the best possible landing spot for him is Minnesota. Between Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Mason, and I heard rumors about them maybe going and signing Kenneth Walker because he's not going back to Seattle, which I'm sure we'll get into somewhere down the road. But I think that the Cardinals have a bad decision. They're in a bad spot. If I had to guess who's going to be their quarterback next year, they're not going to pick Ty Simpson with that first round pick. I think Ty Simpson's going to go in the first round. I honestly think that Carson Beck might be the starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals next year. He might be. I think he's going to go second. I think, honestly, they have an early second and third round pick. Carson Beck might not go in the second. I don't think he's going to go in the second round. I think he's going to fall to the third, maybe fourth round. And I think the Cardinals are going to go ahead and snag him. If they don't, then God bless whoever the quarterback is for the Cardinals, because that organization has so many problems. But, I mean, Dom, this whole thing with Arizona is crazy. What do you think? Because my mind's running at a million miles a minute right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, I want to get back to you. Do you think Carson Beck learns under Jacoby Brissett, or do you think they just plug and play him?
I think he sits a few games. It's weird because Carson Beck, I want to say, he needs a few games of experience, but he was in college for like 5 million years. So if anybody, he's the most experienced quarterback out of all of the guys coming out of the last two drafts, quite literally the last two drafts. But I think Carson Beck, you don't want to ruin Carson Beck. You don't want to ruin him. I feel like the Cardinals learned that when they drafted Josh Rosen a few years ago, plugged him in, ruined him, and then they were like, hey, after 1 year, let's move on from Josh Rosen and go get Kyler Murray, who they just released again and failed. So I don't know how they failed 2 first-round pick quarterbacks in the last, 7 or 8 years. But anyways, I think that Carson Beck sits and Jacoby Brissett or Geno Smith or Kirk Cousins or the boogeyman. I don't know. Somebody's got to start before he does, because if Carson Beck starts right away, he's going to be in some deep trouble. And, I mean, other than Trey McBride and I guess Marvin Harrison Jr., what do the Cardinals have to look forward to?
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely think I'll give you quick. I think that Kyler Murray goes to the Dolphins. I think that he goes to Miami. I don't know why. I have a weird feeling. I had either them or the Jets. I definitely feel like the very safe, obvious option is Minnesota, and he starts as soon as he gets there, and McCarthy learns under him for a little bit because they're um, manhandling his progression as a quarterback very terribly. But I do think that he either goes to Miami or the Jets as alternate options, because I see him getting to Miami and not only having a very nice supporting cast, just like in Minnesota, that he won't not will not get in New York. He has a chance to win year one, as long as Miami gets their what together, and fixes that abysmal secondary, um, and fixes that a little bit of their D line and their offensive line. They still have Jalen Waddle. You still have Devon A. Chain. You still have Minka Fitzpatrick, who is still really good. Is the only good piece about your secondary. Uh, what you know what else what else would you want as a quarterback? You're in a nice warm weather setting. You're on a team with a yeah, seriously. I mean, if you're gonna get paid to play football, and I mean I know he just might sit at home and play Call of Duty, but if you're gonna get paid to play football, you want to go somewhere nice, and you want
The
to go to a
only
team.
reason I'm laughing at that is because everyone's talking about how Tua plays bad in the cold weather.
Yeah,
So it's just like that's all. Every time I hear Miami and I hear weather, all I think of is Tua Tagovailoa. So, I,
and
like he
what
can't perform in the cold weather. I'm like, how could you? He's in 80-degree weather all year.
and where I think Tua's gonna go is ESPN. He'll be a football analyst. That is the smart decision for Mr. Tua Tagovailoa because
Yeah,
he
he's missed
if
a
he
lot of time, so he's got to. I think Tua's done also.
yeah, I don't I'd feel weird like gross watching him play football again. It's like
Yeah.
it's got to be the most unsettling thing knowing that if this guy is one concussion away from just never playing any pro sports again in his entire life. So,
Dude, I feel so bad for the poor
oh,
guy. I mean, like he should retire. I mean, like that press conference that he had where he was talking about like people say I'm not good with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and they're right. Like that broke my heart. I was like, man, this guy. I feel bad for him because this was a dude who led the NFL in passing yards. So
yeah,
poor dude,
yeah,
man. Poor Tua.
yeah. He's got a
But
yeah.
I don't think Kyler goes to the Jets though. I don't think so
No, I
because
mean,
you mentioned the
yeah,
Jets, but they just tried that experiment with a first round pick quarterback in Justin Fields, and I don't think Justin Fields was the problem. So, and they still lost.
yeah. Poor Justin Fields. I
Yeah, he might be on the move too. I mean, I don't know. We still got about how many days until free agency kicks off? 5 days from the recording of this video.
Mhm,
So we got 5 days until free agency kicks off. Who knows who could be free agents? I mean, none of these trades have actually gone through yet, but they're all going to.
mhm.
Um, I mean, there's a couple other things that happened. I kind of want to move to one of the more interesting trades that I actually really like, but I want you to talk about it first. Another NFC North trade. Everybody in the NFC North is making moves right now, from the Vikings to the Packers to the Lions. Now we go to the Lions. David Montgomery was traded to the Houston Texans in exchange for Juice Scruggs and a 2026 fourth and a 2027 seventh. Dom, what do you think of this trade for both sides?
My first reaction, I was actually at work and I saw this on my phone and I was like, how many running backs does Houston have? Because this is insane. They have David Montgomery, Joe Mixon, who we won't count Joe Mixon, but just for namesake, well, Joe Mixon. Um, oh my God, who's Woody Marks,
Woody Marks, yep.
Nick Chubb isn't coming back. Um, but yeah, on the roster right now, you have four running backs. I know Nick Chubb and uh, Joe Mixon are kind of like outliers in that situation, but what I mean, maybe they'll try the Sonic and Knuckles things with Woody Marks and David Montgomery, but I don't know. It's just it's such a weird trade. And Drew Scruggs was actually a very solid offensive guard. Like it's not like a like I know I had somebody joke about like, oh, Drew Scruggs for David Montgomery. I was like, he's actually very decent. Like he's not, he's been on a mainstay on the Texans for a while now. And I know their offensive line wasn't great this year, but I don't think Drew Scruggs was the problem. Um, so I do think that it was a little bizarre trading away an offensive guard who you desperately need offensive line help for the Texans. So um, yeah, I was a little weary about that. Good for Detroit. I know we talked about a few times together how Detroit really needs to step up their game with the offensive line. So I definitely do think this is a really good, really good trade for them. Um, I think they got a late round pick as well.
They
No, I
got they
think the
got a
tech.
fourth round pick in this year's draft, I believe.
Mhm. So
The return was a 2026 fourth round pick and a seventh round pick in the 2027 draft.
yeah, yeah, definitely just one of those trades you kind of look at and go, This was a little weird. Um, definitely, I was definitely a little, like confused about that. But regardless, I don't. I think that this definitely hurts the Lions a little bit with their rushing attack. I think that Jameer Gibbs thrived off of having a little bit of rest in between plays, and I think that the Lions thrived in general with using two running backs that you couldn't predict what they were going to do. It was the perfect, especially with Ben Johnson, and even without Ben Johnson this year, it was you would see Montgomery have 120 yards something games, while Gibbs had like 80 yards in 80 yards through the air and like 50 on the ground. So it was a very balanced rushing attack, and it really helped their passing offense. So I don't know what's going to happen with with that, but I definitely think it doesn't help. What do you think, Ben? I know that this is our NFC North is our division. So what do you think about that?
Um, I actually think this is a great trade for the Texans. Obviously, they have offensive line issues, but let's face facts. On 31 other teams, David Montgomery is a starting running back. That guy could start anywhere else. I mean, like, obviously they have a million running backs. They have Nick Chubb, Woody Marks, and Joe Mixon, and now you just throw David Montgomery into the mix. Sure, why not? But let's say Joe Mixon does come back, right? We know what Joe Mixon is. Joe Mixon is good. Now you have Joe Mixon, Woody Marks, and David Montgomery. This is a team that could really thrive in the backfield. I mean, CJ Stroud struggled last year. He struggled. But
Mhm.
to add a running game to help him out, look at the Seahawks, right? Sam
Mhm.
Darnold was good, but I feel like the best part of their offense was their rushing attack. That combo between Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet was great, right? Not the Cardinals, sorry, the Falcons looked a lot better than they actually were because they had Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier, right? I feel like there are, the Eagles. They went to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl 2 years ago because of Saquon Barkley, right? Jalen Hurts was great. All credit to Jalen Hurts, but Saquon Barkley ran for like 2,000 yards. I would say that plays a pretty big role in the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. So I like this trade for the Texans to an extent. I mean, I think they traded away a little too much, but the Lions, I don't get it. I just don't understand. This is a team that had the best running back duo in the NFL. You had it right there in the palm of your hands, and you just trade away David Montgomery. Like you said, the Lions and Jameer Gibbs, who is one of the best running backs in the NFL, thrived off of having David Montgomery there to help him. Now that he doesn't have David Montgomery, now you got to go get another running back to help out Jameer Gibbs. I mean, look at the top running backs in the NFL. They always have a decent running back to back them up. Bijan Robinson has Tyler Algier. Kenneth Walker, who's leaving now, he did have Zach Charbonnet. I'm sure he's going to go to a team that has another running back. Cam Scatterbo, who was the rookie sensation last year for the Giants, he had Tyrone Tracy. So you look at those top backs, they have those other guys to help them out. I don't know what Dan Campbell's smoking over there, but whatever he's smoking, I want some of it because it must be good enough to make him trade away David Montgomery. He was one of the top players on that offense. I don't like it for the Lions. I like it for the Texans, but these are two teams that need more than what they're getting out of this trade for them to be competitive next year. I mean, I would look at the Lions all over free agency, and oh my god, they're losing all of their offensive linemen. Like Taylor Decker, I'm pretty sure just retired a couple days ago. Did he not? He retired, right? Yeah, he retired. And he's one of their best players. So, I mean, the Lions are in some deep trouble. Um, I don't like trading away David Montgomery. I'm sure that they have the cap room to go get somebody else, or maybe they draft somebody. There's actually a couple of really good running backs in this draft outside of Jeremiah Love that I like. So maybe they do that, but I don't really like this trade for the Lions. It's fine for the Texans, but we know the big problem with the Texans is offensive line, right? And CJ Stroud was not good last year, but I wouldn't be good if I was running for my life either. So he had no offensive line help. He gets a running back that'll probably help, relieve a little bit of stress for him. So I think it's an okay trade, but there's some more stuff that happened, like Jordan Davis of the Philadelphia Eagles. He just got paid. He got a nice contract, 3 year, $78 million for Jordan Davis. Dom, what does this tell you about the market? How do you feel about this deal? What do you grade it for the Eagles?
Yeah. First off, Taylor Decker did not retire. I think it was released. So I just looked. I just made sure of that because I honestly thought he was retired too. But he was released from the Lions. But nonetheless, your point still stands. Um, Jordan Davis, one of the best run stopping defensive linemen in the NFL, and with this is going to really reset the market for defensive linemen, not only edge but more importantly defensive linemen, because we see guys like the what we mentioned before, Chris Jones, how his contract really kind of lit up the league. It's getting higher and higher, and we're seeing it in the cap. The salary cap is getting higher and higher. I think there's 19 million more dollars in this year's salary cap than next year's. So we're gonna see guys get paid a lot more. We're gonna see markets reset, especially with that. We're gonna see a lot of defensive linemen get not only restructured but new defensive linemen. Even guys like you were talking about before, Trey Hendrickson. Whatever team he goes to, hopefully the Bears, but whatever team he goes to, he's going to get a nice, big, fat, juicy contract. And it's going to be a lot different than a lot of these edge rushers in the league because we know that the market is going to reset. Guys Jordan Davis is just a really solid piece for the Eagles. He's nice to pair with Jalen Carter because Jalen Carter you can move anywhere. Jalen Carter could play D tackle, edge, and in some cases off the ball linebacker. But I haven't seen him play that too much. But yeah, he's super versatile, and Jordan Davis is that steady, great run defense, D lineman, and I think it's really solid for the Eagles and their defense because we've seen in years past, Eagles defense is kind of getting this, especially after the Super Bowl win. And you don't want their offense and their defense to be not great. So, so it's definitely nice to have Jordan Davis back on that defensive line, and I think it's going to reset the market a lot for these D linemen that need to get paid. Then you got anything you want to say about that?
I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. It does definitely reset the market, but Jordan Davis just came off of his best year of his career. I mean, he had 4.5 sacks, which as a defensive tackle, 4.5 sacks is a lot. I
He's a
mean,
big boy too. He
he's
can move.
if I was getting chased down by him, I would be very scared. He's 6'6", 336 pounds. That's not good. He had 72 tackles, 4.5 sacks. That's more tackles and sacks he's ever had in a season. He had 9 tackles for loss. He had 6 quarterback hits. A very good year for Jordan Davis. Definitely deserved every penny of that contract. I mean, obviously his teammates spitting on other players and stuff like that. So, he definitely deserved every penny of that. So, good move by the Eagles. I like it. It also resets the market a little bit. There's quite a few D tackles out there. I mean, the Vikings just released Jonathan Allen after they just signed him to a 3 year, $60 million deal last year, and he fell flat. So, yeah. They signed him to a 3 year, $60 million deal last year. Minnesota did, and Jonathan Allen fell off the face of the earth. So, it was it's a little interesting, but who knows? Maybe he gets that kind of pay again after the market, being the way that it is. I mean, other moves that happened.
What about that Zaire Franklin move that just happened? What are we thinking
Yes,
about that?
I was just going to bring that up. I have Ian Rappaport's Twitter right here.
Because we could probably do rapid fire free agency right after this because we're getting up on that hour mark.
Yeah,
So we'll
I was just
do.
going to say I like Zaire Franklin to the Packers. Quay Walker, I'm pretty sure is out for Green Bay. I'm pretty sure he's leaving. So I like this move for the Packers. The guy had 173 tackles, and he made the Pro Bowl last year. I like it. Sure. I mean, the Colts get $7 million salary off their books. And they get Colby Wooden, who's a defensive tackle from Green Bay. He started every single game for them, apart from one. So I like the move. I mean, Dom, let me know. What do you think?
Yeah. One of the best linebackers in the league, Zaire Franklin, I think is a very underrated guy. Like you said, most tackles in the league this year. The Colts are going to be very thin at linebacker after this, even though they get a D lineman to fill up that gap they had there. Their defense was really, really, really solid this year. Especially their linebackers, their secondary. Obviously going out and getting Sauce Gardner. So it's a little weird to see them trade one of the best linebackers this year, especially. Um, and for the Packers, yeah, man, the Packers defense gets 100 times better with this. Uh, the defensive line is already fantastic with Micah Parsons. The secondary is pretty good, and you get a solid middle linebacker who played off the ball linebacker, left outside linebacker, right outside linebacker. So you get a guy who could play all over the place, and he's the best, one of the best linebackers in the league. And I think it's a little bit under the position's a little undervalued. So for the Colts, man, I think you go out and pick up somebody like Tremaine Edmonds, who we didn't talk about too much because he's a little older, but we could talk about it right now. I think Tremaine Edmonds is great, a little bit of an older guy, but you're thin at linebacker. Go pick him up, man. That's a fantastic move for the Colts. Not only do you get that linebacker back, you have both positions filled now, and Tremaine Edmonds is coming off his best year yet. He had 111 tackles, 111 total tackles, I think. I think he had 2 interceptions, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, he had a fantastic year. Go pick him up. But they'll definitely be looking for a linebacker in free agency now since they traded him. But overall, both teams I think got what they wanted. Um, it's kind of one of those trades that uh, you know, you do if you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So, uh, I think it's a pretty solid trade for both teams. Vin, what do you think? You got the same headspace as me, or are you thinking something else?
I'm on board with that. I think it's a good trade. I really do. I think it's a fine trade for both sides. Colts need to free up cap room. They just put that $39 million transition tag on Daniel
Daniel
Jones.
Jones.
Which hey, no disrespect to Daniel Jones. He balled out last year when he played. So all respect to him, but at the same time, you just put a $39 million transition tag on a guy who only played half the season and came and is not going to start for the first half of the year.
Yeah. And it
So
was an ACL tear as well. It's not like he broke his wrist or isn't
yeah, he
feeling
didn't
well.
he
Like
didn't stub his toe. Like
yeah,
he actually did something that's for a lot of people could be career ending.
yeah.
So he's gonna come back, but it's a big move. Um, it's fine. They freed up a little cap room, and the Packers add another player to that defense with Micah Parsons and all of those good players. And they're also releasing Rashawn Gary, which is
Mm,
interesting.
mm.
So that's gonna. So I'm excited to see where he goes. But you said you wanted to do a little rapid fire, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's you ready to go?
Yeah, of course I am.
Alrighty. First name I got up for you. We were talking about him before. Mr. Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker.
Aha! I heard a lot of rumors about where Kenneth Walker's going to go. I hope he goes to the Vikings. I really do. But if I had to take a guess right now, the betting favorite is the New York Football Giants. I love that move for the Giants. So if you want my guess, I think Kenneth Walker's going to side with the Giants, and we're going to have a nice 1-2 punch with Kenneth Walker and Cam Scatterbo.
Mm, I like that. I don't mind that one bit. I actually really like that. I don't
Or
I
Kansas City.
I don't
Kansas
know.
City's another one.
That was my answer. Kansas City. I'll give you mine after you say yours. But yeah, I was gonna say Kansas City right after you. They definitely need somebody. If they don't go after Jordan Love, not Jordan Love,
Jeremiah Love.
Jeremiah Love. Oh my, yeah. If they don't go after Jordan Love, I hope they don't go after Jordan Love. Um, um, alrighty. So next up, I got Trey Hendrickson from the
Ooh,
Cincinnati Bengals.
I like Trey Hendrickson. I like what I have been hearing. If you would have asked me that question yesterday, I probably would have said the Baltimore Ravens.
Mm.
I could be completely honest with you, but that's kind of out of the picture. So you know what? I actually think the Los Angeles Chargers are going to go after Trey Hendrickson. They are the. This is a true stat. They are the NFL team that made the playoffs with more cap room than anybody.
Mm.
More cap room than any other playoff team. That's a problem, first of all. Second of all, you're in a division with Patrick Mahomes and Bo Nix. What better way to go after Patrick Mahomes and Bo Nix than with a guy who was good at rushing the passer like Trey Hendrickson? That's a really good player who's going to elevate that defense to the next level. I love Trey Hendrickson, so I think the Chargers is a good landing spot for him.
Oh, I love it, dude. That's what a great answer. I was expecting something else. I love the Chargers. I'm actually gonna switch that to my answer. I was originally gonna say
Yeah.
the Bears because
Oh,
obviously, yeah, I think the Bears need edge help, and I think that they they're probably the best suited in cap space right now for that. But I love the Chargers too. As a Bears fan, I'll probably say the Chargers as well. But
I like it. I like it for the Bears too. That makes a lot of sense.
what about Tyler Linderbaum?
Tyler Linderbaum. That's actually what I'm going to use the Bears for. I think Tyler
Hmm.
Linderbaum is going to go to Chicago. They just lost their center.
Even after getting Garrett Bradbury.
Oh, I forgot they made that trade. Never
Hmm.
mind. I retract my answer. Never mind. Hold up. Wait a minute.
I'll give you mine while you're waiting because I know
Yeah,
that kind of threw a curveball through your answer. Give me the
yeah.
Detroit Lions, another NFC North.
That's what I was thinking.
Mm.
I like that. I like that. What's another team that needs a center? Well, actually, the Patriots need a center.
Yeah,
So
Patriots definitely need a
maybe
center.
maybe
Texans,
Tyler
Patriots.
Linderbaum goes to New England. I think maybe honestly, I mean like the Ravens just ran out of cap room, so I honestly genuinely thought he was going to go back to Baltimore, but um, the Patriots just traded away Garrett Bradbury, and they need offensive line help, so maybe they go and get Tyler Linderbaum. I like that move for the Patriots, and I also really like the Lions after they just lost like five of their offensive linemen over the past 2 years. I mean, the only guy they kept around was Penei Sewell, so I like that.
Yeah, dude, that's a great answer. Hell yeah, I really like that. I was um I honestly before that trade too, I was in the same boat as you with the Bears because that would have been a I had Garrett Bradbury nowhere in my radar for the Bears.
Neither did
Um,
I.
it was such a I guess they kind of had to make a panic move a little bit with Drew Dahlman retiring, but yeah, man,
He was a
I
Viking at
know,
one point. I can tell you one thing about Garrett Bradbury. He's a safe player. He's not
yeah.
bad. I like Garrett
Mhm.
Bradbury. It was a first round pick, so he wasn't as good as he was supposed to be. His draft comparison was Jason Kelsey, and he was not Jason Kelsey. So
Definitely not Jason Kelsey. I don't think anybody is for a long time is going to match
no,
up Jason Kelsey.
no, not at
Um,
all.
all
Who
right,
else?
so
Who else do you have?
next up, I got Mr. 1000 Mike Evans.
He's man. I really like this move, and this is a hot take. Hot take incoming. I think Mike Evans is gonna go catch touchdowns next year for Fernando Mendoza on the Las Vegas Raiders.
Ooh.
I think that is a perfect move for the Raiders. I was thinking about this yesterday. Could you imagine what kind of offense they could run with him at one and Trey Tucker at two?
Wow.
I think that is a great move for them. I mean, I like the Giants, but I think the Giants are kind of in a situation where they might have to re-sign Wandell, which is another interesting name at wide receiver. But Mike Evans, I don't think he's going back to Tampa Bay. I think that we could all kind of agree on that. But I think he's going to be catching touchdowns for Fernando Mendoza next year. I think the Raiders is a great team for him. And I mean, there's so many great receivers in the NFL. You have your Justin Jeffersons, you have your Mike, you have your Tyreek Hills, your Jamar Chases. But who better than to catch touchdowns for you than one of the most experienced guys and the guy who earned the nickname Mr. Consistent in the NFL than Mike Evans?
Man, wow. I really like that. I did not expect you. I thought, you know who I thought you were going to say? I thought you were going to say the Eagles.
I'm not going to say anything about the Eagles until I hear what they do with AJ Brown.
That's very, very, very true. Um, I'll give you mine. I mean, you may be surprised by mine. Um, with the departure of Brandon Ayuk, I think Mike Evans goes to the San Francisco 49ers.
I like it. I like
Yeah,
it. I do.
yeah.
I do like that. I actually have another team in mind, but tell me about the 49ers. Why
No,
them
I
over
mean,
everybody else? Why them over everybody else?
you're losing. You're for sure losing your guy in Brandon Ayuk. I knew it was kind of last year. It was a mystery. And I think that's why they didn't bring anybody else in. You have George Kittle, who is obviously one of the best tight ends other than Trey McBride right now.
Mm-hmm.
You have Ricky Pearsall. You have oh my God, what's his name? Who's the guy who
Christian
balled out?
McCaffrey,
No,
Mac
not well,
Jones,
Christian McCaffrey. Oh my God, the receiver, Kendrick Bourne,
Kendrick Bourne. Yep.
who pretended to be Randy Moss for 1 week when
Yes.
everybody was out. Yeah, I think you have a lot of depth in that position there, a little bit, but think about how awesome it would be to have a reliable pass catcher um, with all those guys. Like you take so much stress off of Christian McCaffrey, and
Yeah.
you take so much stress off of Brock Purdy having to throw to guys who he doesn't even know if they're going to be healthy that week. So I think him going there, I think that's it's a little like out there, and maybe they're not going to do it because of their depth there of offensive talent. But I do think that Mike Evans could go there. Where else do you think? I know you had another team in mind.
This other team that I'm thinking of. I, I think this one is more unlikely, but I like the Washington Commanders as well.
Mm.
I think Terry
Ooh.
McLaurin is also getting a little bit older, but I think having Mike Evans on the other side of him would help a lot. And let's not forget what Jaden Daniels was. When he's healthy, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, I know we saw CJ Stroud's rookie year, and then we saw him the years after. We were just like, all right, but like Jaden Daniels with Mike Evans and adding Terry McLaurin already there. I mean, like they just got rid of Debo Samuel. We saw how that worked out. Didn't work out very well, but there's a big difference between Debo Samuel and Mike Evans. You know what I mean? You know what you're going to get from Mike Evans. You really don't know what you're going to get from Debo Samuel, and they didn't really get a whole lot out of him. So, yeah, I think the Commanders is another spot, but my pick is still the Raiders. You got anybody else on that list, or
Oh man, I got another player for you, and
any other names? Yeah.
well, maybe we'll do. Let me see. I have. I think I for sure have one more. Um, Yeah, I'll give you 2 more. I'll give you 2 more. How about that?
Okay.
Because we're coming up on an hour now. So
Yeah.
I'll give you 2 more, and we'll start wrapping up. Get Give me who you think, Mr. Stefan Diggs is gonna go to.
Stephon Diggs better go home and start putting the kids to sleep because that
Yeah.
whole situation with Cardi B is getting crazy. Um, Stephon Diggs is an interesting one because he came off a good year, but how much longer does Stephon Diggs have left?
Mm.
What does he still have that same kind of player? Is that dog still in him per se? Like, is he still that guy? Um, I don't, it's a hard situation, but I think Stephon Diggs might actually end up going to Kansas City. To play on the other side of Rasheed Rice. This is a team that just traded away Trent McDuffie, and they're getting older. So why not just add more veteran help? You have a lot of young receivers, a lot of young receivers. They need someone to learn from. Stephon Diggs is a pretty good player to learn from. Not the guy, but the player, because the guy, you know, everyone saw that episode of 96 Questions where everyone didn't want Stephon Diggs to date their sister.
Yeah.
So Stephon Diggs, the guy, isn't great, but I think as a target for Patrick Mahomes, he
Mm.
could be really good. He's an explosive player. And even if you line him up at the number one, you still got Xavier Worthy as your slot guy. Rasheed Rice, when healthy, is actually a pretty good player. Um, so this is I think Kansas City is a good landing spot for Stephon Diggs, and if not, I could see him going to the New York Giants if they don't go get Wan'Dale Robinson back.
That was my answer. That was my answer exactly. Wow, great minds think alike. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
sure.
I was ready to blast you with that New York Giants because I think that regardless wherever he's going, he's not wide receiver one anymore. I think he had that last chance in New England. Not like he did bad by any means. He actually he was pretty serviceable,
He
but
was really good. He had like 900 yards.
exactly. And but like you said, Father Time is undefeated, and I think he goes somewhere where he could be a solid wide receiver two, wide receiver three, like the Giants, like the Chiefs, and be serviceable. Because what my answer was the Giants, and I think he could be a fantastic mentor to Malik Neighbors. Um, I think well, I don't think that Wanda Robinson's even coming back. So if he's that wide receiver two there, I think that's a great deal. You get to play what do you call it, next to Malik Neighbors. I'll take that
Yeah.
for he never has to worry about money ever again. That guy, um,
Yep.
he maybe he has to worry about other stuff outside of football, but other than that, yeah, he
I feel like honestly, it's funny you mentioned the Giants because I don't know if you have this name written down, but I want to know where do you think Wan'Dale Robinson's going to go? Because I have a team in
mm,
mind, 100.
mm,
percent
mm. I actually like that. I like that you asked me that. I I didn't have it written down, but I definitely will answer. I think Wando Robinson goes to hmm. That's a great
You
question.
want me to give mine while you think
You go
about it?
you go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
I have been thinking about this for a while because I knew he was going to be a free agent, and if he does not go back to the Giants, I think he's going to go to the Tennessee Titans.
Mm,
I really like that move for Tennessee. He's 5'9", but he still caught for 1,000 yards. I think that Cam Ward is. I can't remember the last time that we had a first overall pick. Ever since I've been watching football, me and you have been watching football. I can't remember the last time the first overall pick had less pressure on him than anybody drafted after him. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Cam Ward was not talked about as much as some of the other guys in that draft, like Travis Hunter and the Buffalo boys or the Colorado boys, pretty much like the Travis Hunter and
Shador
Shador
Sanders.
Sanders. Yeah. So I exactly, and he was a fifth round pick, and he was talked about more than Cam Ward. And the Titans were not good last year. We all know that. But Cam Ward showed flashes on a team that had nothing. I mean, they had Tony Pollard, whoop de doo, but he ran for 1,000 yards, which good for Tony Pollard. But I can't name a receiver on their team. I can't. I really can't, and it's sad. But Wan'Dale Robinson is a guy who caught for 1,000 yards on a team that was not that very good. The Giants were not very good. They're probably the worst team in the NFL, but they're still the bottom of the barrel. So for him to catch passes from a rookie quarterback like Jackson Dart, I think he could go to a team with a guy who has a higher ceiling, like Cam Ward, and catch a ton of passes. I like the Titans for him, but Dom, you tell me, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I honestly could see Tampa Bay. I could see the
Ooh,
Buccaneers. Um, I definitely could see Tennessee. I agree with you on Tennessee. So probably either there or Tennessee.
Emeka
I
Egbuka,
I don't
Wan'Dale
think that
Robinson.
yeah, I don't think that he's wide receiver one ready yet. So I think a place like Tennessee where he can grow a little bit next to Mbuka, next to I don't know if Chris Godwin's even staying, but guys like that where he can grow and get a lot of reps in. I think that's really good. Somewhere like
Yeah,
Tennessee, like you said, where he can get that good those good reps and that production that he's capable of getting, I think is really solid. Um, and my last one, before we get off, Devin Lloyd. Where do you think he's going to go? He had a fantastic season last year.
yes,
Um,
he did. Indeed, he did.
and
I like that.
while you think about that, I'll tell you, I want him on the Bears. I think he's fantastic, and I think he can really be a game changer for whatever team he goes to, whether it's the Bears, whether it's we talked about the Colts now needing a linebacker, whether I think maybe even call me crazy. The Browns just lost Jeremiah something. I don't want to JOK. I know his
Jeremiah or Owusu
yes,
Koromoa.
I cannot pronounce his name. Imagine him next to Carson. I can't even pronounce his name
Carson
either.
Schwarzenegger.
Swashinger, yeah. Imagine him and Devin Lloyd together on the Browns. Oh, like that. Whew.
That would be good. That would be good. Um, this is another one I thought about a little bit, and I think the New York Giants make perfect sense.
Mm,
The Giants just released Bobby Okereke,
Bobby, oh yeah.
and people were kind of surprised by it. But if you watch the Giants games, he missed quite a few tackles, and he was pretty inconsistent. Devin Lloyd does not miss tackles,
Mm.
straight up. This guy is such a tough player. I love Devin Lloyd. I mean, Devin Lloyd this year was probably the one of the best players at his position that I don't think got talked about enough. I mean, if you look at his stats, he had 81 tackles, 5 interceptions, which for a linebacker, 5 interceptions is a lot.
Crazy.
Uh, 1.5 sacks, 7 passes defense, which is awesome, and a fumble recovery. This is a first round talent. I like Devin Lloyd a lot, and I think the Giants make sense. This is a team that's really good on defensive line. Load up your front seven, right? If you're not going to go get a corner, which they haven't yet, and I'm kind of ticked they haven't because that's what they need the most. Load up on your front seven. Go get the middle linebacker is the captain of the defense, and he is going to be the captain of that defense. I love that move for the Giants if they go make it. Um, the Bears is also a really intriguing spot. Another team that I would have said if they didn't make the trade was the Packers, but they just made the trade for Zaire Franklin. So maybe the Colts go and take a shot at Devin Lloyd and keep him in division. So, but my number one answer for this has to be the New York Football Giants. I think that's a great move for them if they decide to make it. But I can't wait to get to Wednesday and see how wrong I actually am.
I know, me too. And I want to just thank you for coming on with me and talking ball. I know Wednesday, like you said, we'll hop back right on. Probably a little later than 4 o'clock. We'll
Yeah.
figure out if that's live or not. But it's I'm super excited for free agency. I love anything that's NFL. So with that, thank you, Vin, so much. Anything you got to say before we head off?
Um. No. Other than that, there is a little bit of breaking news here from Adam Schefter. The
Mm,
Chargers star edge Khalil Mack gets a 1 year deal back with LA. One
wow.
year, $18 million for Khalil Mack. So that's
My
breaking
God.
news 9 minutes ago from Ian Rappaport. Chargers star edge Khalil Mack, a likely Hall of Fame pass rusher, is expected to sign back with the Chargers. He gets a 1 year, $18 million deal, fully guaranteed.
Wow.
So, yeah, end off with a little bit of a bang there, I guess.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Good for him.
so
Their
Khalil
edge
Mack,
needs are met then, I guess.
yeah, I mean, Chargers get Khalil Mack back again. So that's
Wow.
a little more breaking news for you.
Holy mackerel.
But other than that, I'm excited for Wednesday. I'm excited for the rest of the combine and the draft. And I can't wait to see all the crazy moves that people make. I'm still waiting to see what my Vikings do. They just freed up 60 million over 3 days. Justin Jefferson, Christian Darrisaw, TJ Hawkinson, all taking restructures. They were 40 million negative. They're about 30 million positive now. And hopefully we get to see Kyler Murray in purple and gold next year.
100%. Uh, I'm excited too. I'm super hyped, and I just want to say thank you again, Mr. Vin. That has been the episode 4 of the Sports Pulse Pod, free agency, pre-free agency edition. We'll have the free agency edition on Wednesday. Thank you everybody for watching. Please subscribe. Go check out Vin on TikTok. Vin knows sports. Go check out me on TikTok. I'm actually now primarily Bears, Windy City football, but we're always going to be Sports Pulse here, me and Vin. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great night, have a great day. See you all later. Peace out.